Hi everybody, my name is Nathan, this is Azerothian, and I know that there's a lot going on in the WoW world right now. We have a new patch coming very soon, and there's also Pandaria Remix, which is something I'm really excited about. But I want to talk about something that I always liked, and I always thought it was interesting, but I don't think people talk enough about it, which is the new player experience. I was triggered to make this video after I read an interview from John Haidt to PC Gamer, and then the team acknowledges that it is tough for new players, and they're looking into that. But then after I read that interview, I saw that Taliesin put out a video, while he was streaming, we fell in love with the game with all its complexity, even if it was hard, and that Exile's Reach ended up serving more for experienced players who wanted to level alts than for actually new players, which I kind of agree, and I want to talk a little bit about it. I don't want to make this too long while I level my Draenei, because I really want the heritage armor. So let's jump right into it. I think there are two main questions that we should ask ourselves when we talk about the new players coming into WoW. Like, who are these people? Who are these new players? And if we really want them to join the game, or if they really want to join the game, because since I jumped back in the WoW train in the pandemic, I tried to get some friends back into the game or to start the game, but I always found some resistance, and I realized that the biggest problem was that when the person was just not made for the game wasn't made for them. And I think that most WoW players, and after the interview, I think some of the people inside Blizzard, they try too much to cater for people who are not actually interested in the game. For people who wouldn't benefit, they wouldn't find, fun and all the excitement we found in the game. And here's why. To the point that Taliesin made in his video, we fell in love with the game with all the complexities. This screen that you're seeing here was my first experience ever with World of Warcraft. I had a Draenei, a Paladin, and I was brought into Azurimist Isle. I had no idea who the Draenei is. I had no idea who Velen was. I had no idea what the Exeter was. I know it was a ship. I know I was an alien that just fell here. But it was fun to discover. It was fun to have the feeling of, oh my god, what is this, and being interested. My point is, if you put a person in this place and they're not interested, they don't want to know. They don't want to know about the Draenei. They don't want to know about the story, the game mechanics. They find everything overwhelming. They find it too complex, too time consuming. So I think we should start thinking that maybe that person should play something else instead of us, the company spending a lot of money and effort trying to cater to these people. And by no means I say that I feel that the current player experience is good. I think Exile's Reach doesn't quite do the job. I think it's very, halfway there. The fact that people are thrown into BFA, which is a huge time, a huge moment in WoW's time, the whole war, and it's kind of confusing for new players. But then again, to my point, it was always confusing. MMOs are big. The world is usually big. When I started playing New World back then, it was overwhelming a little bit. I didn't actually know what that isle was. I didn't know what the story was, but I was excited to get to know and spend more time there just to try to understand what was going on. And I think that's what's missing from this whole conversation, is to think about who are these people we're trying to target. I've seen a lot of YouTubers trying WoW for the first time, and some of them are very genuine, but some of them I see that they're trying to, get on the hype of, new WoW players experience. And they start to complain things that doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, I don't know what I am. I don't know where I am. I don't know this story. But it's part of the thing. You don't know. You won't know. It's impossible for us to create an experience where you're going to get into the game an MMO, and 5, 6 levels later, you're gonna be all acquainted with the world. To be honest, for years, I felt like I had no idea what was going on until I was more, prone to reading the things, reading books, or getting to the lore on the internet. So I think part of the problem with this discussion is I feel sometimes people are trying to cater into players that don't actually enjoy the game. It doesn't matter the amount of effort we put into trying to bringing these people in. They're not gonna be interested. Just like I gave up with a bunch of friends of mine that I understood that they were more into, turn-based games, that it didn't take as much time, it didn't take as much effort. So, because, just to wrap this up, if the person is the target audience, I don't think we need to revamp the whole thing. I think we need to improve just to make it easier to access information. But changing the game so we can summarize this rich story, so we just make everything too simple for them to digest, I don't think it's gonna work. I think it's trying to cater to people who are not your target audience. So what do you think? Leave me a comment if you find this discussion interesting, if you agree with me or you disagree. I think a lot of people are going to disagree with this. And don't forget to like, subscribe the video to the channel, and I'll see you next video.